the hell? Hello world, WaveTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So, I came back to my quarry, and for some reason it has completely disintegrated. Yeah, that is a good way to put it. So, it's completely apart. I have no idea where the items all are. There's some sort of bounding box here that I can't get through, which apparently there's something right here, and I just don't know how to explain this in the fact because I don't even know how it happened. It might have been when I crashed when doing something. I actually tried to shift Q click or something, some uranium cells when I was crafting them to continue my reactor, but for some reason, So I'm probably going to have to create another one, but at least it looks like my bare quarry code is operational. I'd have to plug it into another computer to see how much is actually there, though I do think it's going to be possible to rebuild it. So let's turn off my entity radar because I was trying to find a freaking bat in my cave workshop. I'll store this stuff here, and then I guess let's get started. So, the frame implosion does present a few small issues that we're going to have to take care of pretty soon, but not right away since we have, well, more pressing matters than, having our frame completely disintegrating. Not quite before our eyes. That would have been worse. Anyways, well, I got my base cleared up a bit in the sense that my defunct wheat farm is now nicely tucked away in this chest, though it probably won't do anything very useful in there, as well as the bog earth one, which all that's left is a chest and a lever. For old times, buddy. For old times. Anyways, we're probably not going to have to worry about that much, and I took the liberty of counting where our next building is going to need to go, which means we will need to move our tree farm. It might be a prudent idea to do so. I'm probably gonna think of doing that at a later time since we have to wait for all of our assortment of other fun stuff to get, well, assorted, such as this picking up speed, but we're kind of wasting time right now and we might as well do some more interesting stuff. So the first thing we need to do, oh, by the way, I got my reactor set up again so that we will have it running and powering our matter fab instead. We might be able to get some stuff with that. So, what was I thinking about? Yes, we're going to need another project table, and it'll be dedicated for all of our red power shenanigans, which is going to be created down there. So, I think putting our project table down and then putting basically the recipes that will be required for all the red power managers that we will need. Probably won't need to put the piston plan there, or rather add it into it instead, since, well, it's gonna, I'll shut up, do a bit of time skipping, and then be back with you guys. Okay, so with our last plan, which took quite a bit of effort, we have a manager, and we got a manager plan, as well as all the bits and bobs, so we're going to need to, unfortunately, do a little rearranging, seeing as all of our... Well, look at all the junk we have that is required for all the sorting system. Like, for instance, we need to get buffer plans to get the buffers, which are required for the item detector, which even needs some more junk, such as this stuff. And unfortunately, you can't get anything like cheap with that, and well, the pressure plates we pretty much have to put on demand. The tubes, which I don't think we actually have any, we're going to need to create somewhere else, which is going to become a real headache since we also need to get the brass. But basically we're gonna have to go like so and hope for the best. So let's throw our brass in and our tubes so we get an item detector, and now we're out of more stuff. So it's going to be a bit of a hassle to get everything, sure, but hopefully we'll be able to get everything a little better. So I'm thinking the stuff that requires cobblestone, since it's another thing that we need to worry about, we'll put into this and have them as the plans. So we're going to have our filter and our piston, which are pretty low level objects, so to speak. We'll put them in here, create all the pistons and filters that we'll need, throw them into here once we get everything else. We're going to need to use this redstone as well to get more managers, but thankfully, sorry, not more managers, though it is useful in doing so, to get more of those circuits. So what I think I'll do is actually get a few more silicon wafers. That will probably be all we need. And hopefully we'll have everything at our fingertips in a more precise manner. So I'm going to sort through everything, hopefully get everything arranged neatly, and then we'll be able to do some more, not only testing, but implementing of our design in a more concrete manner. Okay, so we got all of our red doped wafers finally, and our manager are done. So we got 6 managers. This will be enough to play around with. Sorry, we have 7 plus the 3 downstairs, which really aren't doing anything. So we got a total of 8 managers. Now, do we want to have this system right here? Or would it be best to expand outwards and work our way through the, well, system? Well, we can't work out that direction. I'm a little leery about working underground, so, oh, we still have some gold here. So what I think we'll do is disconnect everything that is currently here, so all the chests and the managers thus far, and we're going to obviously have to rewire everything to make sure that everything is, well, working into the utmost possibilities. Now, I did get a lot of wires ready, so we got a bunch of stone jacketed wires for our amusement, yes, and we're going to need to get rid of this, so basically whack everything with gold bars to make sure that everything is working tip-top. Now, this power network currently is not the best. I'm hoping eventually we'll get some sort of centralized red power energy generation system that will work a lot better than what we currently have. So let's try to devise some sort of method. Now, ideally, I don't ever want to come down here. I know it sounds bad, but I just don't want to come down here. There shouldn't be any point for me to check if everything's working out well. See, I got 28 silicon boules there. I have absolutely no clue how those got there. Well, I have a bit of a clue, though it's a bit long-winded. Here, have some boules. Thanks, my good sir. Have a chicken instead. Oh, you're too kind. So, gold, iron junk down here. And we're going to need to get this barreled up. Now, I'm going to need to, once again, test a bit of the method to make sure that our barrels aren't just rolling around on their own volition. Also, this redstone we're going to need to use up in the most desirable fashion possible by making some more filters. We got 2 filters currently. We only have this many of stuff. We're probably going to need to make some form of awesomeness by doing this. Let's see. You will turn back to you. That will be helpful. And let's see. Pistons, we'll need more pistons to make the filters. So let's see. 9. There you go. But now we're going to need some more cobblestone. So I'll cobble that together, get all of our other stuff ready, and then hopefully we'll be able to make our manager system. 9 filters plus change is all we're going to need. Probably also some barrels would be a little helpful. We got 2, at least we'll be able to test a bit more than originally planned. Now, it looks like most of our room is going to be a bit occupied, so we should throw everything else out the window and see what we can get. So, once again, act as a centralized chest, but we'll have it differently and hook up into our sorting system, which is right here. So black is the output, and eventually we're going to have it so that none of this stuff matters. So all this green will be good, and taking out everything else will pretty much say that everything else is going to get sorted. So actually, let's see, let's pull out all of this. We don't need it in our sorting system. And eventually we will need to put this in a nice, comfortable spot. Where can I put you? You know what? That would be helpful. There we go. Probably could have put you in a regular chest, but who cares? So, let's get my chest back. Thank you. The pneumatic tubes will go over here. Now we're going to have... it's going to be a pretty simple system, actually. This will need to probably, when we get a bigger system, turn to mag tubes, but for now I think it's going to be simple enough to have it as is. So let's try to figure this out in as good of a system as possible. Sorry, I'm swatting away cat hair. Kitties are cute, but they are dreadful when it comes to hair. So, it's going to be like this. We're going to want the sorting system to originally go to any of the managers, which will be up there. So we still have to put those managers in there, but seeing as we don't have any items to sort, it's going to be a problem otherwise. So my method is to use this almost as a dynamic area. So dynamic sorting area, everything will go there initially, or rather check if it can go there. Since this only has a certain filling requirement, i.e. I only want 2 stacks of iron in this chest or go to hell, we're going to have it go to another area afterwards. So let's actually see if this works. We'll take a restriction tube and put the restriction tube here, and obviously this Nikolite does not deserve to be in our general vicinity, so we'll have it there. So let's have it like this, where our pipe will be like that, and we're also going to want to get this and this covered up to make sure that it doesn't interfere with any of our expansion efforts once we get to that point. Man, that hair is dreadful. So, let's see. When we expand it in the future, this will turn to a mag tube, but we'll probably send it so that it's down and then go over, and we can worry about that after. So, managers will have under the barrels, so it can pull items out of the barrels, but unfortunately it won't be able to put any of the items in, which is a bit of a headache. So we'll have 2 barrels to start with. That could have been better, but whatever. And this barrel will have pure cobblestone in it, and set to accept all cobblestone if it can. And this one will be set so that it accepts all glass if it can, and as you see, it's 0 priority, won't accept anything else. So this black band troubles me a little in the fact that, well, anything can go that direction. So it's rather the managers, well, this should accept any color, so I shouldn't be worried. So what I should do first of all is hook this up to a power source, and if we could actually get the right one going to here, we can get some power going through our rather simple blue electric power grid. So it's going to take a while for it to warm up, but in the meantime, what we're also going to want is, since what if you have a very valuable resource and it sometimes runs out? You can't rely on the barrel mechanics to keep that stocked. So unless you can't rely on the managers to keep it stocked unless you have it set so that it only accepts 1 item, which will defeat the purpose. So what I'm going to do is have filters here. If I can step up, so that this will accept cobble, and the other one will accept glass, and thus be another safeguard, so to speak. So everything is powered up. We should have enough blue electric power for that. It's connected. That supposedly is connected. So let's just throw in a bit of cobble. And unfortunately... What? You look interesting. Okay, so now that I think of it, this is a problem as well since it also has sorting. So I'll probably set these so that they're black as well as an interim, and I could have done that more easily. So turn this to black. There we go. And it should go in the default black. So, cobblestone. It's sent to the black, which is this. This is sent to the black, supposedly. Or sent to the purple instead, since the default is purple, not black. So the default is purple, so we shouldn't change it to black instead, to at least test when the system is working. Thank you for being very helpful. You are too kind, my sir. No, after you. Okay, so it's going over here. Obviously, it will go into, well, it goes into the manager. So that worked. Did it actually input it? What? I thought it only pulled. Huh. That's interesting. So if we put that in there and put that in there, that should mean that it goes into here and there. So that means this might not even be needed. Which would be a welcome sight, honestly. But it's not allowing anything to go into there. It's just clogged up. So it'll go over to the top anyway. And then it just pulled it again. And is sending it out into one of the chests. This thing is weird. So this is probably set to stock. Ah, okay. This is set to anything. This is set to stock. So that was a little stupid of me. So I have to find that the glass is currently in our nice little white area. Yes, it is a white area. Shush. Let's take off our jetpack because it's more of a hindrance than a help at this current point. And we'll test with gravel as well once we get another barrel. We should have another barrel somewhere. Let's make another barrel since we're going to have a barrel of laughs with this entire assembly. Yes, I made that joke before. Shush. I do not like repeating myself, but sometimes I just can't help it. Isn't that kind of oxymoronic? Yes, it is. So, it went over there, so let's see if we set this gravel, whether it'll work the same way. We'll set that and put the glass and all of the gravel in it at the same time and see at least if our initial system is working to its fullest. Obviously, you see that the gravel is going in. The gravel should be forced in because it should accept any amount, though it only accepted one single stack, which is a bit troublesome. Which is very odd, actually. So it just did something. It's going to there, I guess. So maybe if we have this instead of going there, going over here instead, but that might cause an infinite loop feedback. No, it shouldn't, because it shouldn't pull items out otherwise. Therefore, we shouldn't have any sort of worrying problems. Let's turn this off so that that doesn't happen again, and we'll try that. We'll just see what happens, but I'm gonna pull some more gravel to make sure it's working. And we still haven't added managers on top of here yet, so we're not even sure how that will fit into the picture, rather. I'm not too sure. Let's set this up so we can also add Nicolite to the equation. And to do that, all we're going to need to do is set that up like so, like so, like so. We might add a filter on, and okay, it went primarily there. Or rather, where did the gravel go? Did the gravel even get pulled out? Be right back when I try to figure out this stuff. What? How's that? How did I even set that up? I have no clue. So, to stop that, we'll take that out of the picture. It should go to the other restriction tube, since we don't need any sort of feedback or anything. So, went there, and it can't force anything else into there. So what we'll do is set this filter, and we're going to need to screw it in. There we go. So it should accept the gravel. So let's get this straight, and this is finally telling me a lot more about the system as a whole. So what this means is that the barrels and the managers don't play nicely together. That much is obvious. What wasn't obvious right away is how they don't play nicely. They don't play nicely in the fact that the manager can only see one slot in the inventory because it's trying to pull it out from the bottom. It just, when trying to input anything from the bottom, it just sees, okay, I want to put gravel into here, but since there's only one slot, derp. So instead, what's going to happen is that we will have to input every single thing from the top, otherwise it's not going to work. So if you see, it's going to attempt to go over there, it's going to fail miserably, and then it's going to go up. So our restriction tube, instead of going there, is going to go here. So get that, and get this. Now this is only with that. So as you see, we got almost 11 stuff in there. This is how it only is with that. So that doesn't tell anything. So let's expand this system by adding another manager on top. So these managers should control everything else and basically control the static inventory of everything here. So let's take those two first of all, and we're going to need to hook up some power. So temporarily at least we'll hook up some ugly power, so to speak. So wire everywhere, just coming from one of these. So let's bring it over here. And at least let's make this ugly power look nice enough by bringing it up and over like so. Instead, blah. There we go. And there. So it's going to connect via the sorter. It shouldn't pull too much energy. And we're going to have this set so that it only wants so much cobblestone. We'll have it set to, say, 10 cobblestone. And it's pulling out everything else. That is not going to be good in the short term because everything will be pulled. If there's any way to stop this... Huh? Oh, that's interesting. Let's turn that off. So obviously you can affect the inventory after the fact. And this is going to all be full sooner or later and be an unsorted nightmare, so to speak. So the gravel's going into those. They're in the nearest inventory. So let's take that. Let's take these all off. And hopefully they go back and set themselves right. So at least the gravel will go and be sent to the gravel area since there is a gravel area. But this other stuff will just send out into the Merry Blue Yonder. It won't even bother trying to go under there. So currently it's working in a fashion. We are going to need to tidy up these because, well, that is not acceptable. We're going to need barrels for everything else, but currently we don't have barrels for everything else because if we did, that would be too simple, I guess. So 2 more filters. For these, we're going to set it so that it's iron and gold, first of all, because they are very common in what we have. Rather, iron and tin would probably be good. What do we have an excess of? Want to have iron, coal. Let's put coal. So coal we'll take out of here. And we'll have it so that, let's see, coal here. So 1 coal, 1 coal, and 1 coal. So we should get all the coal that won't be really accepted in any of the other stuff. So that means we need to have this. This will be set to pull exactly or have exactly that amount. Or rather, it's jammed and nothing can go in it. So we're going to need to have some overflow mechanic currently. So what is currently overflowed will go in, and as you see, the coal is getting pulled out until it has the proper quantity. So let's throw the coal into here. And pull out this coal as well, throw it also into here. And let's see, so all that's getting flushed, all the coal as well as the gravel is going there. Got the coal here, so we want to have as much coal as possible, so let's have it set so. And it looks like it's good, so we might, judging by we'll see how it goes. So we're going to need to clean up the system so we don't have random junk everywhere. We'll need to figure out where to put all that random junk, and eventually we're going to want to make sure that there's no overflow, since we don't want any overflow really, though we are going to have to handle some sort of mechanic to get that in place. Also, we will need to expand this because although this is nice and compact, it's not compact enough in the fact that, well, we need to be able to compact it a bit better by having it like over there and have only like 1 column in between. So we'll have to have it like this to check everything, and we'll only need it for upgrades, but I think that's good. We'll still need more resources and probably have to work on the logistics of more managers and what to have in them. But currently, I think a stack in each of those is good. So stack of that, stack of this as well. So all that is overflowed, and we're going to handle everything else soon. So one thing I am currently seeing is this. Currently, as you see, it's not set to anything. Oh, priority 1. Let's bump up the priority because I thought there was some issue. But there is an issue, as you can see with that. So let's turn off the priority and get that fixed. So as you see, there is a bit of an infinite loop with our coal getting sucked out of there and not getting transferred to the correct area. So that is a bit of an issue, as you can tell, and there's only really one way to solve that, and it is by putting some more restriction tubes over everything. Now, unfortunately, we're going to need to have 2 restriction tubes because we still need to keep the priority of this channel, but having it so that, for instance, let's take the restriction tube here. So now this path has 2 restriction tubes no matter what, but this one has 1. So whenever this needs to get stuff out of it, it'll go out this way. And as you saw earlier, this is set so that it wants to keep 1 stack of coal in this inventory at all times. That is currently not being metered out. So we're going to need to rectify that by something a little simple, which is, well, having it ask for it by changing the priority. By having a higher priority, it's going to ask from here to just give me all you got. So it's going to take, unfortunately, a bunch of the coal that it has. So that is a problem that will be fixed in the future by, well, not having that out. That will stop the coal from bounding out into the overflow. So you see that now everything is getting sent back once it realizes that there's a directional change. It won't go back into there, but will go into here because it can. And that is really the whole reason it would go in there. Now, obviously, it's not empty, but pretty much the way to solve the fact that all of them are getting pulled out of the system is by speeding it up, and the only way to do so is to get a bunch of mag tubes. Mag tubes are a bit expensive, but considering the cost of the manager, it is not as bad. So is it all one word? Yes, it is. Mag tubes requires a bunch of fine copper wire and glass, and the fine copper wire is created using the draw plate, so it requires like 6 copper per 8. Overall, that's not too expensive considering the manager. So we're going to have to get everything sorted out. Obviously, we will need to have barrels for all of the major stuff, such as keeping a large amount of sandstone into this one. If only there was a way to stock these a bit better, it'd be better, like having ghost images of the block instead, or have multiple managers. But the reason we don't want multiple managers is it require the block at the back, unless we want to have a block at the top or front, which wouldn't be very user-friendly in the sense it'd take an entire space, which is not fun. And also, we're going to want it to be like this, stay like this rather, because we'll want to have sortrons at the back eventually. That's going to be very fun once we get to that point. Obviously, we're not quite at that point, since we are still having trouble getting everything sorted. So what I think we're going to want to do is pretty simple. We'll probably need to make some mag tubes and expand outwards. We'll start with the common blocks. All the other stuff is going to be a mess in the meantime. So start with sandstone, sand, cobble, dirt, etc. all in the managers. Hopefully have the right size. We'll probably have to think of size limitations in the future. Currently that's not really troublesome, since really, why would you worry about that? And for the big things such as cobblestone, sandstone, etc., we're going to want to have extra dimensional storage upgrades onto the barrels. So if we look at the extra dimensional upgrade, that's going to require a barrel. Oh my gosh! Dark iron ingots, which we haven't created yet, and blaze rods, and an ender pearl. That's not too bad. Too bad I can't bum off Chondric. Oops, did I say that out loud? But hopefully we'll get everything fine-tuned. And yeah, expand outwards, have like, how many can we fit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in each row, 11 by 2, then we'll have like 2 or 3 column, and expound either that way or probably downwards. We probably will want it to have downwards to be surface area efficient, but we'll think of that later on, since we have more projects to do. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.